Colorado. I grew up in Wheat Ridge and Golden, Colorado. I've always been an artist. My mother is a graphic designer and my father is a photographer, and kind of come from a long lineage of creatives. So both my grandparents on both sides were creatives. So I was kind of surrounded by creativity my whole life. And I knew I wanted to be a painter. I mean, as far back as I can remember, I distinctly remember being 8 years old, knowing that that's kind of was what I wanted to do with my life. So I feel very grateful that I am doing that. And yeah, I went to the University of Denver for fine art, got my bachelor's in fine art. I also studied art history and ended up studying abroad in Florence, Italy, which was pretty spectacular. So yeah, that's the education that I've had, and I've been pretty much, you know, I've done quite a bit of studio work over the last 10 years, but over the last 3 years really have just been completely enamored and fixated by mural work, and you know, the putting art in the public eye in that way. And so I'm a self-taught spray paint artist, medium, and I love it. And actually now I do spray paint in the studio on canvas and wood panel too. So that's how much I love it. And yeah, so I've been trying to participate in as many mural festivals as I possibly can. I'm also a mother of 2 children, so that's, you know, been difficult being an artist and being a mom. But speaking of being
That's
a
good
mom,
timing. Perfect timing. On cue.
Hold on one second. Sorry.
That was perfect timing.
I know, right?
Leah, you want to cut the recorder for a minute and then?
Yeah.
That was perfect. Perfect
Yeah.
on cue timing.
Yeah. So that's my history. I also have been running like a mobile sip and paint for about 6 years, which is really fun because I do like to teach. I try to teach people that I know. I've taught several people how to oil paint from my education at the University of Denver. And it's just I just enjoy spreading knowledge of medium. And so with the Babe Walls, we actually did a workshop, a spray paint workshop about 2 weeks ago, which was super fun. I've been wanting to do that for years now. So that was the first one. And hopefully we'll have more of those. So we'll be able to, you know, just diasporate the knowledge on how to use this medium, which is really fun.
Yeah, I saw some images on Instagram of that workshop, that spray paint workshop. It looked like a lot of fun.
It was so much fun, yeah.
You talked about your time at University of Denver. Mm-hmm. I'm curious what type of work you were making back then, and how that. Yeah. So
I was, you know, I really liked color theory, and I really like non-subjective abstraction. So the work of Jackson Pollock and Robert Motherwell and these artists that, and Clifford Still, which we have an incredible museum in Denver now from his work. But I really liked, that was my passion, really, was how you can convey emotion and, you know, a depth of emotion just through the use of color. So I did a lot of abstract work in university. And then I kind of blended abstraction with some subjective pieces and elements. But I also like obsessed with religious art and history. So like my senior thesis was a series of altarpieces that resembled kind of a modern approach to the kind of early Christian altarpieces in Italy. So, yeah. I like to do portraiture too. I am good at it. So I've made a lot of work that involves faces and people, and I really enjoy that kind of stuff. So, and I'm pretty good at rendering the face, so I'm grateful for that. So now I'm kind of in this space where I'm kind of trying to blend those kind of, you know, kind of impressionistic realism with color theory and abstraction.
I had a little technical difficulty there for a second, so I missed a little bit, but we thank God we're recording everything.
Yeah.
Can we pull up the work from last year?
Yeah.
While Leah's pulling that up, I have a curiosity about Grow Love, how that kind of came about.
Yeah. So, you know, I was playing around with the moniker, and really when I started to go hard and really tried to get out there as an artist after my kids had grown a little bit, I was going by the moniker Ava, and it was actually Ava Van Dersen, which was an old family name, and I did that for about a year and a half, and then what I realized is that as I got more into the mural world, that it really became more of like a mission. Like what I do is just part of a mission, and so Grow Love became my moniker as a part of the mission in terms of creating art in the public eye. So
yeah, that's great. That's like it's like a personal mantra that's a name as well, and it's like a mission statement all in one.
Yeah, exactly. It's worked really well, and I you know, even as I grow and I shift and things change a little bit, what I found is that the mission actually keeps me really grounded and keeps me, you know, on task with just how I am as an individual, and you know, really fulfilling a life purpose.
Mm-hmm. That's wonderful.
Thank you.
So Leah pulled up your piece last year from Street Wise Boulder.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk to us a little bit about kind of the process and your ideas and all of that?
Yeah. So, I mean, when I heard about Streetwise and I met Leah, I was just so excited to just be a part of something that's more about the greater good, and creating messaging that can really reach people, especially, you know, in mural work. So when we had been paired up with our group, so we had it was Chelsea Lewinsky and Julia, and it was what is her moniker?
The Designosaur.
The Designosaur. Yeah, I just love that. And we, you know, we're working at that time. We're really thinking about things that were impacting people and things that were impacting the globe at that time. And it was really Greta Thunberg really had her voice out there, and she had just done that ocean crossing, and she was here in the States, and you know, came over to became a water protector. I mean, she she was everywhere. So it was like, well, what about her? Like, how can we use this platform to elevate her voice? And we also used Autumn Peltier, who is a water protector. And we, Chelsea killed it and did 2 portraits of those 2 individuals. And I found a quote that I thought really went with the whole idea. And Julia, created this really, really neat imagery that brought it all to life as well. So with all of that combined, and it was a really difficult wall. I mean, you can see it was, God, I don't even remember. It was probably almost 100 feet long. And, anywhere from 4 feet to 6 feet high, even 7 feet high. So it was really tricky to create a design that was, meaningful and, had portraits and also had a quote. So the quote worked out really well because it was able to kind of connect the imagery, which was something that was a nice element to it. I think it really made it work. So yeah, there we are. The eyes of all future generations are upon you, which is huge. And then actually we made the mural kind of flow down off the wall onto the ground and made it so that Autumn and Greta it looked like they were kind of like going underwater. Yeah, see? So like the ocean, sea levels are rising, and polar ice caps are melting, and so that was kind of that depiction of that happening.
Yeah, recently I heard that she donated like a $1 million prize. Did you guys hear about that? She got like $1 million award for something, and she donated it to charity just recently, like a day or 2 ago. It's fabulous.
Yeah.
Since we are there some images on your website that you want us to kind of pull up that you could share with us?
I mean, this is a great one. Yeah, so this was one of the more recent murals that I finished for a project that I did with the Colorado Department of Health and Environment. I actually consulted with them to help develop the project. They had received grant funding through Redline, and we kind of decided how we were going to make it a statewide project where it was creating a visual communication about the priorities of the statewide health assessment that they do every year, because the statewide health priorities assessment is something that they put a lot of effort into, and usually it just goes into a book and people don't really know about it, and they don't really it's kind of like statistics and things like that, but it talks about the priorities in health and in the environment in Colorado. So it's really interesting. And they were like, what other way can we get this out there that brings awareness to the work that they're doing with the state? And so they paired up with, I don't even know how many artist teams, I think 7 locations across the state, individual artists and artist groups got together and looked through the book from the year past of the priorities of the state. And I think the top priorities were like mental health, physical health, and I can't remember the third one, but it was like, there was a lot to choose from. And so I really, each artist got to decide kind of what priority they wanted to talk about in their mural, to bring, to put it into the public realm. And so I have personally struggled with mental health, and I know that statistically that mental health is a huge problem in the state. And so I decided to kind of combine community, which is huge in mental health. You know, your feeling of included in community, along with physical activities of swimming, which is, you know, an incredible tool, you know, to bring about positive effects of mental health. And so we chose a location in Denver, which was the La Familia Rec Center, and found some images from the Denver parks of local children swimming in the pool and painted it on the wall. So that was really fun, because I think place and community in that place matters, so that you're not, you know, art and gentrification are very closely aligned. And so it was a really great project to really get into that and make sure that, you know, you're really honoring a community when you're doing a mural in a place. And you're depicting the people who exist and the community that thrive there. So that was a really fun project. The Awakening boutique approached me to come do a mural on their boarded up windows during kind of the scary part of the pandemic, where people thought there was going to be rioting in their store, you know, on their street, and which there has been. But you know, a lot of the businesses on Broadway in Denver were very concerned about looting and rioting. And so they boarded up their windows, and they had a bunch of artists come and paint them. So I wanted to do something that was, you know, unique, awakening, having lotus flowers kind of growing out of somebody's eye. So that was fun.
Yeah, those reflections in that eye are incredible.
Thanks.
I'm curious if you have like what your relationship is to water and swimming, because that last piece of swimming one, and then the one before that you mentioned kind of this part of it. I'm wondering if you have any specific history with kind of water or swimming or anything like that.
Well, I was just like any other kid in the community that spent pretty much 16 hours a day at the swimming pool as a kid in the summertime. So
That's a lot.
Yeah, like, I mean, from sun up to sundown. My hair, it was blonde, but because my sister and I swam so much, it turned green because of the chlorine. So I love swimming. It's swimming is just kind of like one of those soul expressions that, you know, I'm a swimmer.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I agree. And I think that green hair, I would wear that as like a badge of honor.
Oh, totally.
Let's see here. Oops. Hey, can you share some of your thoughts on some of these other pieces we're looking at?
Sure. So the Phoenix there was at my kids' school in Wheat Ridge. So they had asked me to do a mural during the summer break of 2019, and during the kids' summer camp. So we got to teach the kids how to spray paint, and they helped me on that mural during that week of the summer camp, and that was really fun because they let me. They just had a lot of blank walls, which tend to give me a little itch sometimes. My kids have been going there for like 9 years, and I'm like, so about these walls. So it ended up really nicely.
Yeah, at my son's school down the street, there's a few murals that I feel like need a lot of help, and I would love to kind of contribute to that. So that's really great that you're able to have a mural at your kid's school.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Do you want, Leah, do you want that other question that you have?
Sure. So yeah, we're curious about who you would consider, or yeah, it could be artists or anybody who might be your greatest influences.
Well, my mom for one, because she's just an amazing person, and she, gave me the space to create when I was young. So, and she is an incredible artist herself. So, I always say my mom because I came from her and I owe a lot to her. So my mom, and then I know it sounds kind of cliche, but Georgia O'Keeffe really had a huge impression on me, because when I was at University of Denver, we took a class down to Ghost Ranch, where she first lived when she moved to New Mexico. And I had never been to New Mexico. And I heard about Santa Fe and how cool it was. But being down there, I was completely blown away. I was, enchanted. And, her pioneer, she was like really tough to go down to New Mexico when she did. That was still the Wild West at that time, to be a woman down there, like a white woman down there, just, being a painter. It was like really unheard of. So, I just love hearing stories, and I know that there are many women like this in history. We just haven't heard of them. But the fact that she was well documented, her art is incredible, and she was an amazing painter, and she was just like a badass, basically. And I love her. I want to be her. I want to go off into the middle of nowhere. Being up at Crestone makes me feel like her. Like, I'm out in the middle of nowhere. I have nice amenities here, but nature too. She went out there, and it was, being in nature and really, meditating on the landscape and the things that were, in her immediate surroundings, and making incredible art because of it. I just love that. So I'm trying to think of a more contemporary artist who really inspires me.
How about outside of the visual art, like just kind of people in the world that have shifted the way you thought or been impactful in that way?
As a person who comes from lineage of immigrants from Northern Europe, I really am like fascinated by the discourse and the dialogue of colonization. And so there are a lot of leaders who are, trying to get their voices back in the original peoples, the first peoples of the Americas, who, I couldn't say their names, but I try to stay abreast to all of this history that's being made right now, with, half of Oklahoma going back to the original tribes of Oklahoma. That's huge. We're seeing some incredible history just right in front of our eyes. And so people in that movement who really are, breaking that colonial mindset and that white supremacist mindset that's been ingrained in all of us, is something that I really try to pay attention to. So
that's great. Yeah, there's so much going on in the world that it's how can we kind of pinpoint one person doing things when I feel like there's so many people doing so many amazing things right now.
Right.
Before we started recording, you showed us a little peek of your canvas work, and
Yes.
it made me wonder what's the overlap in kind of the studio canvas work that you do versus like the public art? What's the overlap? Is there like how do you differentiate if at all?
Well, I'm seeing a pattern now that typically people are asking for mural work when it starts to get warm out. So in the early spring or starting to get into the summer months. And so I'm usually booked up with murals for a couple months at that time. And then there's a little lull in the middle of the summer where I can make some studio work and commission work in the studio. And then come August and September, I mean, it's like it's insane. Like, I mean, it's like mural after mural after mural after mural. And it's, you know, I realize that mural work is like one of the hardest things. People really realize all of the elements that go into creating murals and what it takes to be outside and the stamina to be in the elements and plan and to execute. It's really quite an extraordinary career to choose and to be a part of. But you know, I love it because I love a challenge, and I love going to the extreme to make something happen visually. And so yeah, August and September, it's like if I can get 4 hours of sleep twice a day and maybe once at night, like I'm happy. Like I really have to pace myself and make sure that I have a spot set up in my car. I can take a nap and make sure I'm eating good food, and then it usually dwindles out for the year, and then commission work comes through right before Christmas, November, and a lot of more gallery openings and stuff. I'm a member at the Pirate Gallery, Pirate Contemporary. I've been a member for about 2.5 years, and so there's lots of gallery openings, and then January and February, I'm completely in the studio, just trying to make work for shows and finish work that I hadn't been able to do during the super busy months. So I'm pretty much really busy all the time. And when I'm not busy, I have this incredible anxiety. So I'm trying to find a healthier way to continue doing the work that I do. But I know that I'm kind of in a place where I feel like I'm transitioning more into wanting to teach and to do studio work that's not as demanding.
Okay, well, thank you for your time, Grow Love. For our listeners, if you don't yet follow Grow Love, it's _Grow Love _. Thank you for your time, and we appreciate you.
Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it too.
Thank you. See you later.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.